Yes, people, welcome back to the Shoestring Budget podcast. And today we are live for the first and a half time. The one we had the other day was a bit of a tech run. Made some mistakes, rectified them, hopefully, for this one. We've already made a big cock up, so sorry to anyone that was on the other stream. We have now moved across to this one. Complete breakdown in communication already. I am joined today, as ever, by my man, Dwight. How you doing, bro?
I'm not too bad. In yourself?
Good, I'm very good. Thank you for asking. It's got a lot to get into today. So it's a busy weekend of football coming up. We've obviously just had the international break. We lost a lot of time with the internationals. Man U's games were obviously called off. So it feels like a millennia since we last played. It's been an absolute joke. Farcical because we've missed out on the Leeds game, which I was super excited for. But we're going to go through the fixtures that are coming up for Saturday. So we're going to go into more depth on this one. The first game of the weekend starts at the Emirates between Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. What are your score predictions there, bro? We will go into this in more depth in a minute, don't worry.
I say Arsenal. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0 Arsenal. They have got a good record at the Emirates against Spurs, I'll give you that. We're going to move on. Bournemouth versus Brentford.
Brentford. Brentford are going to win it, but I'm going to go 1-0. I can see, Bournemouth holding out, but not all game.
See, with Bournemouth at the minute, they are on the rise now. They got rid of Scotty Parker. And since then, they've gone on to I think they've drawn and won since their new manager's come in. They haven't lost yet with this new manager. If they beat Brentford, they leapfrog them in the table, which is insane considering the start to the season Brentford have. Brentford obviously coming off that 3-0 defeat, that walk in the park that Arsenal had a couple of weeks. It was either last week or the weekend before. Arsenal were very comfortable in that.
Just before the international break.
Yeah, that was it. It's because, man, you haven't played, right? So now my schedule's all out. I don't know who's doing what at when. Like, it's confused me.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah. So looking at it now, I think, yeah. So with a Brentford, if Brentford lose this game and Bournemouth win, they will overtake them in the table, which crazy considering where both teams started off. Second game of the season, Brentford walk over Man United 4-0. That was more down to Manchester United than necessarily Brentford, but you've got to give them the respect. Brentford have won one in their last 5 games, whereas Bournemouth have won 1 and drawn 2. So they're on very similar veins of form really going into this fixture. So it could be a close one. I think a 1-0's fair, but I'm going to go 1-0 Bournemouth. I think they are fighting back slightly, but we'll see. You can call me back on that one. Next up, Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm going to say Crystal Palace. Chelsea, I haven't been on the greatest run of form, but Graham Potter could change it around for him.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about this Chelsea situation. Now, obviously, we usually have Kieran, who's our resident Chelsea fan, but he's not able to join us tonight. Now, I'm intrigued to get your thoughts on this as well. What are your thoughts on Graham Potter going there, and what are your thoughts on Thomas Tuchel being dismissed in the way he was?
Well, Thomas Tuchel being dismissed in the way he was, I think, shambolic. I mean, he won him a Club World Cup, won him a Champions League, and he didn't do too bad in the league. And the way they went about it as well, it was just, he's lost 2 games, out. Like, that's a bit harsh, in my opinion. Like, it wasn't exactly like, to Chelsea standard, yes, they were doing very, very bad, but they weren't exactly like bottom league or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think, though, Todd Bowley's come out and said he's looking at it from the bigger picture. So he's looking at the infrastructure of the club, and he wants people to all be on the same wavelength, and he felt that Thomas Tuchel necessarily wasn't on that wavelength. I was a big fan and a big admirer of Tommy Tuchel. I thought he was good what he did. Graham Potter coming in, at first I was like, do you know what, that's actually not bad. He deserves it. He deserves a rise up to a bigger club. Graham Potter, he's done fantastic things. But Do you know what I mean? Brighton's one thing, Chelsea's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't. I fully agree with you. Like, he deserves that chance at a bigger club, but like you said, Chelsea is a different ball game. You've gone from Brighton to Chelsea. Chelsea are in the Champions League. They're meant to be like a top club in the Premier League. They're a different like kettle of fish compared to Brighton.
For sure, the pressure is on him now to show what he can do. A big shout out to Katie Lou there. She's saying, hey boys, hello there. Thank you for joining in. As ever, guys, get your comments in. Let us know what you think. Give us your predictions as well. We'll give you a shout out. We'd like to hear what everyone's got to say. Yeah, I'm really mixed on Graham Potter going there. I was at first like, I did a podcast. You can go and check that out. Make sure you go and check that out. On the sacking of Tuchel and Graham Potter potentially coming in. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's not bad. The more I've thought about it, and I saw the Champions League game that they played before the international break, their game was also called off against Liverpool due to the Queen's passing. Yeah, it was poor. I wasn't impressed, but I haven't been impressed with Chelsea all season, to be honest. They've been one of the most boring teams to watch. Even teams that are scraping for their lives are playing better football. Chelsea just sort of meander along. The best game I saw them play was against Tottenham Hotspur, and they should have won that game, really. They did get mugged in that game, but other than that, I've not been impressed. I'm going to move on now to two teams actually that I am impressed with. I think they've been really good this season. Fulham and Newcastle. What are your score predictions there?
Newcastle, easy 3-0. I mean, Fulham have solely relied on Mitrovic. Like, I think without him, they wouldn't have done half as well as they've done. And he's come in and dominated. Like, everyone says, Mitrovic is only championship quality. I mean, so far this season, he's proven otherwise to everyone. But Newcastle, the way, I think last time I watched Newcastle was against Liverpool, and I'll be honest, Newcastle dominated, and I mean dominated that game. And that new striker they signed, Isaac. We'll go with Isaac. Yeah. He had Liverpool defence on ropes. Mm-hmm. He's quick, tall, strong. He's literally the perfect striker, and he dominated Liverpool's back line. So I think Newcastle are going to win. Maybe 2-0. 3-0 is a bit of a push. I go 2-0.
2-0 for Newcastle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I've been impressed with Newcastle. They haven't really gone in. I mean, I heard someone say on the radio, I think it was maybe Graham Souness the other day, was talking about them on Talk Sport, and he was saying that really they haven't done that well on the run-up. And looking at their games, out of their last 5 games, how many games would you say they've won?
3.
In their last 5. I would have said a similar thing. They've actually not won in their last 5 games. Yeah. They've drawn 4, lost 1.
Yeah, but haven't they played big?
They've played big clubs. And amongst them were Liverpool, the team that they lost to in the 99th, 100th minute, whatever it was, and Man City. They got I think it was a 3-3. I remember them finishing 3-3 with that game.
Kieran Trippier with the beautiful free kick.
Oh, that was gorgeous. That was glorious, that moment. But I have been impressed with Newcastle. I have been impressed with them. So, yeah, okay, that's not a bad scoreline. I think they'll beat Fulham. I have been impressed with Fulham, though. They were my team to sort of be the boys that get passed around a bit, but they've been quite solid. I've enjoyed watching them. Liverpool v Brighton. Now, give it a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have said this is a Brighton win, no problem, or at least a draw. Now they've lost Potter. They've got, I think, a temporary guy in. I don't think they've replaced Potter yet. So, Liverpool have been shocking this season. Absolutely shocking. Shout out to Tom there. Hope you're feeling well, brother. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, I think Liverpool have been shocking. I think that's fair to say. They've been poor. I watched the Champions League game against Ajax just before the international break. Again, so average. The build-up play and everything like that was fantastic. Their finishing is shocking, next level bad. What are your thoughts on this game?
I fully agree with you. Like, to Liverpool, not just to Liverpool standards, Liverpool have been shambolic this season.
Mm-hmm.
They really haven't been to any level, they were meant to be at. They've just been awful. So, but again, a couple of weeks ago, I'd say an easy Brighton win. I'm going to say Liverpool. They'll nick it 1-0, 2-0. They haven't been great this season, but I don't see them losing or drawing to Brighton.
It's going to be an interesting one. Like I say, if Potter was still there, I would say Brighton would win this. Without Potter, I don't know. Liverpool also do have home advantage here. They are quite good at Anfield. They've not lost there in a while. I just don't know about them at the minute. Something's not going right at the club. We touched on it in our last podcast about, you were telling me about, obviously, was it the 7-year theory with Klopp and all that? That was quite interesting to hear. But there's just something not going right there. I do think maybe now after the international break, they've managed to keep all their players, as far as I'm aware, fit. Trent hasn't featured for England, so he will be back at it. He's had probably the worst start to any Premier League season that he's been involved in Jurgen Klopp's side. I don't know. Do you think the media and do you think the fans are a bit harsh to Trent, or do you think that criticism is justified?
This is putting me on the spot a bit. I mean, I could be biased because I'm a United fan and say it's the criticism is deserved. I can't remember. I think you sent me a comment. Someone said that Trent's defending ability is championship level.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said the comment.
It was someone on ESPN. Yeah, I remember sending that.
I don't think he's championship quality at defending, but I don't think he's, got the defending ability of someone that should be at Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm without being biased, I do think he does deserve to get criticised, but just not as much as he should do.
Not as much as he has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you. Thing is with me with Trent, I think this season he's been exposed defensively, which I've always called out. I know you've been the same. We've always called out his defensive frailties. I don't think he's at the highest level. If you push him forward in an attacking sense, he is probably one of the best in the world. The way he can cross the ball, the delivery, the long range passing, his vision. He's up there. Like, he is up there. He's fantastic. And that is, as a United fan, he's fantastic. There was a game we played them, I think it was in the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago. And it was when Mason Greenwood scored the winner. But that game, everyone was poor for Liverpool, apart from Trent. And they pushed him up into more of a midfield role. And he was pinging balls left, right and centre. Like, it was almost like watching Scholes. The vision was unreal. But defensively, I've always thought he's a weak link. And... yeah, I'm enjoying that. Oh, you disagree?
Oh, no, I'm just giggling at the fact that you compared Trent to Paul Scholes.
No. It was like watching Paul Scholes. You know how Paul Scholes would pick up the ball and he'd ping it 40 yards, and it was like that. Trent has got that in his locker. He's not nowhere near as good as Scholesy. Never. I'm not letting that be clipped either.
Just taking back on that, I agree with what you said. I've said it for a while now. Trent, if you put him in the midfield position, he would be unreal. And that does pain me to say as a United fan, but unreal Trent. Like, he can set a ball nicely for anyone. If you've got the right attackers to send it off, make that run, Trent's guaranteed to make that pass. So put him in that midfield role, he's going to be fine. I just don't think he's a right back.
No, I don't. I think just defensively he's poor. And you look at the players that England have got as well. I think in some ways Southgate's call is absolutely spot on. I'm going to contradict myself from something that I said on Monday to Tom in our podcast on Monday. What I'm going to say is, with Trent, if you play him in a certain system, so you have players that can cover for him when he's powering forward, like Liverpool do, they always usually drop someone like Henderson in. Henderson sort of fills in that gap so that Trent doesn't have to track back as much. That's not been happening this season, and that's where you're starting to see his frailties. If you can bring him into this England team and make it work, he should be a starter for England. Yeah, if you're playing him as a right back, there's not a chance he should be in that England squad. Trippier is miles ahead of him. Reece James is miles ahead of him. The guy from City, Carl Walker, miles ahead of him. It's a difficult one, but I do feel for Southgate. He's taken a lot of stick over the last few weeks. I do think a lot of it is justified, but I think on this Trent decision, Gabby Agbonlahor obviously came out as well. I'm not sure if you heard his interview, his rant. Your face says it all. He was saying that Trent should hang up his boots, his international boots, and not let Southgate select him. What do you think?
I mean, I'm just going to say, Agbonlahor shouldn't have an opinion on football. I mean, the amount of times I've seen him do, like, combined 11s, and some of the decisions he makes, like going slightly off topic, he picked Gabriel for Arsenal over Rafael Varane, a World Cup winner, Champions League winner, La Liga. I mean, what did he do? Score a couple of goals for Aston Villa? Get in the bin, mate. Get in the bin.
Oh, wow. We're going to clip that and send that to him and see if he responds, because that would be great to have him, you and him on the podcast together. Let you go at it. Shout out as well to Red Panda. Come over from Twitch. Thank you for coming and joining the show. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to the next set of games. We did linger on Liverpool a bit, but I think it's something that needs to be addressed. There's a lot of drama going on with that club. There's a lot of things that aren't ticking. And as a United fan, I'm enjoying it a little bit, but also as a commentator, as someone that has to try and be neutral when we're discussing this, I am actually very interested in what's going on. Right, we've got. Did we give a Liverpool? Did you say Liverpool Brighton score?
Yeah, Liverpool win 1-2-0.
2-0.
Just off some form. Don't think they're going to do anything amazing, but I don't see them losing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait for that. Now we move on to a game that I'm not really fascinated by, but both teams are a bit meh this year. I'm sure at the start of the season, in our predictions, a lot of people had Southampton to go down. Now they face off against Everton. Everton were my team to go down. I think we've all been proven wrong with those selections. What are your thoughts on Southampton-Everton? Who do you think's going to win?
Everton.
Okay.
I think they're just... I mean, Southampton... I can't really comment on either because I haven't really followed them that much. I mean, last time I checked, Southampton weren't doing that great. They were quite low in the table. But then again, Everton were... I'd say a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw seems pretty fair. There's I think they're actually joint level on points. So, and it's only goal difference. Southampton have got a goal difference of -4 compared to Everton's -1. Looking at on head-to-head form going into this, now Everton did win their last game. Southampton have lost their last 2 going into this. So I do think you're right. I think this is going to be an Everton win. Southampton have been so up and down. They've got good players, and I really like Ralph Hasenhüttl. I like what he's done with the club. I like what he's done with bringing in the youth. They brought in some fantastic young players, but it just hasn't gelled yet. But we'll see. There's still time. West Ham v Wolves is the last game on Saturday. That's the 5:30 kickoff. West Ham have been so poor this season, man. What is going on with that club? I am gobsmacked at West Ham.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. Like last season, they were really up there. Like was it semi-finals of the Europa League they got?
Yeah, semi-finals.
They did really well in the league as well. I think they just missed out on Europa League spot due to goal difference. I think it was.
Yeah, there was next to nothing in it. Yeah.
And then this season, it's like they're a completely different team. Like they can't get a win. The bottom of the league, I think they are, or they're very close to the bottom. I don't know what's happened to them, and to me, that's just going to be an easy win for Wolves.
Wolves are just above them in the league. Going on head-to-head, so West Ham have won 1 in 5. And Wolves are the same, actually. Wolves have only won 1 in their last 5 games. Both going in following defeats. West Ham have lost their last 2, whereas Wolves have lost 1 and won 1 in their last 2 games. So it's going to be an interesting one. I can see this one being a score draw. I don't think there's going to be anything interesting in this game. 1-1, maybe a 0-0, but I don't see this being a fascinating game. I am just shocked at how poorly West Ham have played this year. Like you say, they were going in on Europa League, and then this. Moving on, Sunday's game. We're going to go into this one in more depth later as well. Manchester City versus Manchester United. What's your predictions on that one? Try and keep it unbiased.
As unbiased as I can be, United are on very good form. Man City are on good form as well. It pains me to say, but Man City are going to win. I mean, United have played well, and if we play Martinez, if we play our original lineup, I'm not being funny. Martinez is a very good defender, but Haaland's going to dominate him so badly. Especially in the height difference. Martinez is 5'7", and Haaland's 6'4". So,
well, Red Panda in the comments is disagreeing. He's put, I think Man City will score first, but Man U will win 2-1. I'm more inclined with that score, Red Panda, as well. I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-1 Man United.
I think it's going to be 2-1 City, to be honest.
2-1 City. No, to be honest, it could go either way. It's one of them games. But don't worry about it, Red Panda. My autocorrect's never working, so don't worry about it. We'll come back and we'll do a lot more in depth on that game shortly. And the final game to end the weekend, Leeds versus Villa, which follows Man United's game. Leeds v Villa. I'm gonna go with a 2-1 Leeds. Leeds at home, I'm feeling it.
I'm going to agree with you there. 2-1 Leeds.
Villa have pulled themselves back. They've won 1 in their last 5. Leeds have done the same. They've got very similar records head-to-head, almost identical head-to-heads. I think Villa are coming in on the back of a win, which could give them a lift, but I was impressed at the start of the season with what Jesse Marsch had done with Leeds. Leeds also do have that game in hand on Villa as well, so they could move even further ahead of them. So we're going to rewind a bit. North London derby, first game of the weekend tomorrow, 12:30 kickoff at the Emirates Stadium. This game I think is going to be electric. Let's discuss it, man. Going in on the recent performances. So head to head, actually, this shocked me. Based on the recent meetings, Spurs have won 3 of the last 5. That shocked me. I thought it'd be the other way around. However, Arsenal at the Emirates have won every game. They have been much better than Spurs. Quite comprehensive wins as well. But the last time the two teams met was back in May, and Spurs came out 3-0 winners against the mighty Gooners, who are flying high this season, it has to be said. They've only sort of fell apart once, and that was against Manchester United, who, it's one of them things. It can happen against the mighty Reds. But come on, let's go into a bit more depth here. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I mean, I'm actually more excited for the North London derby than I am the Manchester one.
Yeah, just because you're nervous with the Manchester one. That's the thing. Yeah, it happens.
But I'm stuck in the middle here. Basing off this season, I'm gonna say Arsenal. But off recent weeks, Tottenham have picked up a few good wins, and form-wise, they're picking up good form. I mean, and the way, can we all just highlight Son out of nowhere, he's just picked up major form, and he's scoring outrageously good goals again. But I honestly don't know. Tottenham have picked up great form. Arsenal are doing amazing. So I'm sort of like, I don't want to say a draw, but it's too hard to pick a winner.
Well, we've got some interesting ones in the comments. So Katie Lou here is saying that Son is the one for Spurs and another hat-trick. That could be interesting. I was really impressed with what Kante. I was going to say N'Golo Kante. No, the other Conte. I thought what he's done with Son, dropped him for the last game, and he came on. It was against Leicester. Came on absolutely firing out, and yeah, scored a hat trick within the space of 30 odd minutes. Fantastic cameo from him, or 40 minutes. I think it was the second half he brought him on. And they were good goals as well. It wasn't just tap-ins. They were very good goals. So he's going in with his tail up. Now Arsenal, however, they're flying high at the minute. They're top of the league, rightfully so, in my opinion. They've played easier teams, it's fair to say, but you can only play what's in front of you. And as a United fan, it's usually those easier teams that we struggle against. So there's no such thing as an easy team in the Prem. There is this narrative I'm seeing a lot of in the media that they're saying Arsenal haven't really faced a challenge other than Man United yet. I disagree. They lost against some of these teams last year. They lost against Brentford last year. I'm sure Villa gave them hell last year. Fulham, they went in, but teams like that, they've played Bournemouth, Fulham, Villa, United and Brentford so far, going on head to head. And they've lost only one of those games. Spurs, coming into this game, have played Wolves, tough game. Forest, easy-ish. West Ham, difficult. They drew against West Ham. It's one of West Ham's points have come from. They just beat Fulham 2-1, and they got the 6-2 against Leicester. So both teams coming in on full force, on full form. I think this one's going to be an interesting one. I do think this one's going to be a draw, though. I can see this one finishing like a 2-2. The thing is, though, the only time I've seen Spurs play a difficult team this year was against Chelsea, and they were shocking in that game. The most difficult game that they had to play, other than maybe West Ham, with Chelsea. Chelsea walked them that day. They were very lucky to get anything from it. So I'm either going with a 2-2 or a 3-2 Arsenal. That's what I'm going for.
Oh, I'm stuck here. I feel like a draw's gonna like take away the full atmosphere from the game and the prep, the anticipation of it. Both teams are on good form as well. I'm either going to say 3-2 or 2-2. I'm going to
stick with me.
Yeah, I don't know. But I can't say 3-2 to who, because Tottenham are on good form. Son is killing it, but Arsenal are on top of the league, and
Tottenham are undefeated. It has to be said in this whole run-in, Tottenham are still undefeated. They've drawn 2 and lost no games, won the rest.
I'm gonna have to say 2-2. Or 3-2.
Let's look though quickly at that Arsenal defeat. The only time Arsenal lost this year was against Manchester United. I'm going to keep saying that, by the way, because I do enjoy saying that. That's a nice feeling. But the thing is with that game, Arsenal dominated that game. They were very good. They broke Man United to a certain extent, but they didn't have that clinical touch. They just missed that spark of genius. Now, I've heard a lot of United fans saying we bossed them out the game and we controlled them and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's true. I think Arsenal were meticulous in that game. If anything, Arteta cost them that game by making them subs. Gary Neville said it straight away. As soon as Gary Neville said it, I saw it. And Rashford and everyone else went through. It was easy from that point, easy pickings. I don't think Tottenham have necessarily got that in their locker. They are a very defensive setup now under Conte. He likes to play his defensive style. I do see Arsenal picking him off. I can see Arsenal picking him off. Only just, maybe once. But I can see this going Arsenal win or a 2-2. Right, we're going to move on to an excellent derby. An excellent derby. So I'm just looking at the table now. I'm gonna get excited now because 21's incoming. I know it is. I'm gonna put somewhere on one of these screens. #21. It's coming. Eric Ten Hag. You heard it here first. Eric Ten Hag is gonna take Manchester United to the top again. I'm telling you.
Can we just announce that United are back? Because Player of the Month for September is Marcus Rashford, and the Manager of the Month for September is also Eric Ten Hag.
We need to get like a clapping sound effect for this, I think. I like it. Right, looking at the table. Okay, so Manchester United are sitting in 5th. We have played a game less than Manchester City. So there is currently 5 points between us and City. If we win, and we win our game in hand, depending on how other scores go, we could be sitting top of the Premier League table or joint top. Just saying. #21 incoming. Go on Twitter, everybody that's watching this. #21 incoming. #ShoesString budget. We'll give you a follow. Nice one. Caterloo's also said Eric Ten Hag for the win. Absolute legend. Absolutely agree, Caterloo. Absolutely agree. So, the Manchester derby, the one I am very excited / nervous / going to be hiding behind a sofa watching it. Might even do that as a watch along yet. I'm not sure. So if you are subscribed,
changing my boxes every 2 minutes.
Absolutely, I was like that against Arsenal and Liverpool. It was horrible. But let me just chuck this out. I'm going to go on a tangent here. But we're now 6 games in, and we've already played Arsenal and Liverpool in that run. Like, that's decent. That a lot of the big teams haven't had to play against other big teams yet. So I'm just chucking out there, and we're in the top 5 with a game in hand where we could go top if we win our next 2. Just saying. Right. Manchester United versus Manchester City at the Emirates, at the Etihad. And that is a 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. And I'm just looking at the head-to-heads here. Manchester City beat us last time 4-1. That was the last time that we met, and that was on the 6th of March. Katie Lou's put, it's our year. I'm not saying that. #21. It's our year belongs to another deluded fan base, not this one. But we've got Man City 4-1, City 2-0, and then we beat them. We beat them on the 7th of March in 2021. That was the last time we beat them. And then from there, it's a draw and Man United win. Going in on form, Manchester United have won 4 of their last 6. Man City's, get this, they have drawn 2 and won 3 in their last 5.
So realistically, we're on better form and we should win.
On form, we are clear. On form. So you've heard it here. We're clear. It's our year, lads. 21's can come in.
Ten Hag through with his comments.
Is what he said about it being an end of an era. He was absolutely spot on. Yeah. Looking at this now, so season so far, Manchester United position 5th. We've won 4 games to City's 5. City have drawn 2. We haven't drawn. City haven't lost. We've lost 2. They're the defeats that hurt the most. I think though that was like the bitter pill that we needed. That was the game that highlighted people like Maguire and Victor Lindelof, Luke Shaw. Them players have been dropped. Fred, been dropped. Binned a lot of them. And now he's brought in Rafael Varane. Lisandro Martinez, he played in both them games, but he didn't really have proper people to play alongside. Malacia, whew. Patrice Evra's ghost is back. Fred is gone. Although I'm sad about that because I like Fred. McTominay, though, what a performance he's been putting in lately. Four games on the bounce now, and I think he's undroppable. Never thought I'd say that. Casemiro has been benched by Scott McTominay.
Yeah, no, that is something I'd thought I'd never see, ever.
Crazy. On that point, we did actually do a Twitter poll on this to see who should start the Manchester derby. Let's start with you first. Who do you think should start out of McTominay or Casemiro?
McTominay. I'm not his biggest fan. I don't like McTominay, but on recent form, it's got to be him. I mean, there's no other option. I mean, he's been unplayable. He's literally done everything he's been asked of. You know, he's been breaking up play, making them simple passes. But yeah, he's not doing anything spectacular. But that simple stuff is what's winning us the midfield battle.
And he's been winning it well. And there's been no McSauce, no McFred going on. It's just been McSauce. That's what we want. Katalu's also put in the comments here, keep Maguire on the bench. Feels for the guy personally, but don't want him to play on Sunday. There's a lot of talk that he's actually injured, so I don't even know if he's going to be on the bench on Sunday. He's had a bit of a rough ride, Harry Maguire. If you haven't seen, it's one of our most viewed, it's actually our most viewed video on the Shoestring Budget podcast. Check out the rise and fall of Harry Maguire. It will be somewhere in the comments below. 1,000, it's just over 1,100 views now, so there'll be more of that kind of content coming. But at the moment on Twitter, our poll is at 50-50. So 50% think Casemiro should start, 50% thinks McSauce should start. I'm McSauce all day, to be honest. I think he's been fantastic. Not been massively impressed from what I've seen from Casemiro. Still early doors. He's only had cameo appearances, but the game that he played, the one he started, I think was against Real Sociedad. I didn't think he was great in that game. Thought he was quite average. I'd actually gave him a low rating in that game. So, but we move. I think this game's going to be a fascinating one. Manchester United v Man City. It's always a difficult one. Always a difficult one to call. But I'm going to go with a 2-1. And the reason I'm going with a 2-1 is simply down to this fact. City will come at us. They will attack us. They will probably end up the game with 70% possession. As long as we can soak that up in the way that we have been doing and hit them on the counter. So this might be where it breaks down, but I'll explain in a minute. If we can get Rashford fit, Martial fit, Sancho I think's fit, we've got pace up front, Bruno and Eriksen, by the way, phenomenal. We can get balls in behind City. All of City's goals that they've conceded have pretty much come from counter-attacks this season. We are, I would argue, the best counter-attacking team in the league at current moment. That's the reason, and only that is that's the only reason that I see Manchester United coming away with anything from this game. What do you think?
I mean, you've hit every nail on the head. Like, I couldn't agree more. This season, we have literally said to every team we've come across, yo, here's the ball, have it as much as you want, you know, but as soon as you give it us, we've got a chance. Counter-attack, goal. I mean, we did it perfectly against Arsenal. I think Arsenal had so much possession against us, but we just counter-attack, goal. And I think, to be fair, if we're happy to do that and we can control it, then by all means, do that every week. You know, if Man City want to come at us and want to have more possession than us, you know, crack on. At the end of the day, all that matters is the scoreline. You can have eight. You can, you know, Man City can happily have 78% of the ball. But if that scoreline says 1-0, 2-1, 2-0 to United, I don't care. You know, Man City can have the more shots, the more chances, the more corners, you know.
I think you pulled up on it earlier as well about Erling Haaland. About that, he's going to be the biggest threat. Just want to give a shout out to Asif as well. Thank you so much for watching, Asif. He's put Donny van der Beek's career seems to be floating again. I mean, I'm shocked at what's going on with Donny van der Beek. When we announced that Erik ten Hag was coming in, I thought, oh, here we go. We're going to get to see Donny finally. You know, I've been yearning to see that guy play more consistently. But I don't think he's been on the bench in the last few games. He's sort of ghosted completely now. I don't know what's happened with him.
I agree with you. As soon as we announced Ten Hag, I thought, you know, we're going to finally see something of Donny van der Beek, but he hasn't even been on the bench.
No, it's crazy, really crazy. There was a game, me and Tom actually did the watch along for it, and I think it was the Sheriff game, and they had 2 goalkeepers on the bench. They didn't even have Donny on the bench, and we were like, hang on, like, what is going on with this guy? Like, I can understand a lot of people saying, oh, Ollie was tactically clueless. I've heard that argument. I don't agree with it fully, but I've heard a lot of people say that, and I thought maybe that is why Donny hasn't been starting as much. Ralph came in. He was whipped off to Everton. Can't really remember him setting the world on fire at Everton. But, man, it's such a shame with that guy, because, like, I really rated Donny van de Beek. Do you think that's his career over at United?
I don't want to say yeah, but because he's got the ability and he is a very good player. But I just think he has to leave. Especially with, obviously, Casemiro coming in, Eriksen coming in. You know, we've still got Fred, McTominay. We've got, you know, a few other youngsters coming through, that Zidane Iqbal, you know.
He's been killing it pre-season.
Getting on the bench more than Donny van de Beek.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, and it's brutal, I've already seen better performances from Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal in pre-season than I've seen from Donny van de Beek. I've not seen him perform. I always put it down to the fact he was never in the team. He was always on the bench. It's difficult to maintain form when you're on the bench, let's be honest. But yeah, it's a great point, Asif. We will get on to your next question in a minute. I can see you've written something else. That is something I actually did want to discuss as well, and we will get to that in a sec. Yeah, I do think, look, just going quickly back to the Manchester derby, I'm going to say it's going to be a Manchester United win based on the fact that we will counter-attack. That brings me on to the point of, do we have any fit strikers? And this is where I'm going to bring you in as well, Asif, as well, actually. So, it's been widely reported over the last few days, that Martial and Rashford have not been training. However, I think it was around 12 o'clock today, it was reported that both players did turn up for training. Whether or not they're going to make the squad is a different thing. Now, without them two, without a doubt, you've got to say it's a City win. They'll probably end up playing either Ronaldo, although I don't see the point of playing Ronaldo in a game like this. This game is not suited to him at all. They might end up even playing Bruno as a false 9. That could work. Maybe go with Sancho as our 9, straight down the middle, maybe flanked by Elanga and Anthony. Maybe that could work. But without Rashford and without Martial, we don't win this game. What do you think?
Martial, we could sacrifice, I think, but without Rashford, no.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. All right, one or the other. Without one of them.
Yeah, without Rashford, it's a no-go. And I'm going to go slightly off topic here. This is very controversial.
Here we go, guys. Get ready for it. Buckle in. Get ready to clip this moment. This is why we have him on.
Elanga should be sent on loan, and Garnacho should have his opportunity.
That's not controversial at all by your standards. That's pathetic. That's common sense. That's why I was expecting to come out with some next level stuff. That is what should be happening. Garnacho should be in that team over Elanga. Like, yeah, ridiculously so. The only thing Elanga's got going for him is the fact he has got experience and the fact that we can play long balls over to him and he's very, very quick. I'm not sure about Alejandro Garnacho, how fast he is, but I know that Elanga is very, very quick.
See, I just don't think Elanga's for constant first team action.
No, not constant first team. No way.
I think if he goes on loan to, I don't know, I'm not saying like Championship, but a lower Premier League team like Bournemouth, Brentford, somewhere like that, just to get more first team action, I think come next season, he could be a starter. Maybe, depending on who's still at United, who's, you know, playing for us next season.
Yeah, I'm going to segue off what you've just said about who's playing for us next season, because Asif has asked Ronaldo Osimhen swap deal ? Now that was a report that came out in the summer. There was talk of a potential swap between Victor Osimhen from Napoli and Cristiano Ronaldo. That never materialized. And we need someone now, right? So again, this came on a poll I did on Twitter a few days ago. We actually had like 60 or so people get involved in this, which is great for a channel that's just up and coming. But the vote was on Manchester United to sign Cody Gakpo from PSV Eindhoven, Victor Osimhen from Napoli, or Tammy Abraham. Now, Tammy Abraham has been in the news this week, and he has been linked with a sensational move to Manchester United. Out of those three, who are you picking?
Victor Osimhen. Just because I think he's unreal. I've never watched him, but from what I've heard and from, reports and from watching highlights of Napoli here and there, nothing major, but from just them few bits, he's been unreal. And I think he's the ideal striker. Like, Tammy Abraham's very good. Don't get me wrong, taking nothing away from him. He's been amazing for Roma. But I don't think Tammy's the right man. Now, Victor is quick, very quick. He's very good in the air. Strong. He's literally ideal replacement. No disrespect to Ronaldo. He's a club legend. He's always put his best in. But I think he's just getting to that age now where he just wants to slow down and he just wants to enjoy his football. He doesn't want to... I'm not saying he doesn't want to work anymore, because he clearly does, but I think he wants to just enjoy his last few years of his career.
And he's entitled to that. He has been the GOAT since, for the last 10 years at least, 15 years. Yeah. This guy's 37 now. Yeah, it's insane. Cody Gakpo is the one I wanted, to be honest. I like Victor Osimhen. The reason I went with Cody Gakpo, I like his speed, and I really like the fact that he can play off the left and he can play through the middle. Asif's also put here, reports were circulating about a swap deal during the international break. I didn't see that, Asif. And even it's reported that Nkunku has signed for Chelsea. Now, that would be a very good signing, Nkunku. We were linked with him under Ralf Rangnick. Ralf wanted him, but if that's true, that's a good signing for Chelsea. That's a really good signing for them.
It's a brilliant signing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that is quite gutting.
Yeah, I remember Ralf wanted him. Ralf also wanted the Liverpool guy that's replaced Mane now, the Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
We had the chance to sign him for 30-odd million or whatever it was, and I mean, he's been their best player this season by far. I really like him. I think he would be wonderful at Old Trafford as well. Imagine him. You got Sancho, Rashford, Luis Diaz. Oof, we'd be flying. 21 would be coming, lad. I'm telling you. It would be. In the poll, anyway, just giving a shout out to everyone that voted in the poll. Thank you all very much. We had just under 60 votes on this, which is fantastic for a channel this size. So Cody Gakpo did win the majority by 58%. 37% went with Victor Osimhen, and only 5% wanted Tammy Abraham. I was shocked at the Tammy Abraham links, to be honest. Like, I get his English, and we do sign a lot of English lads, but I don't know. Not for me. Personally, not for me.
Yeah, I agree. He's not for me. He's a good striker, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. And another one as well, this is another transfer story that came out during the break, and it kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't see this coming. It was about David De Gea. Have you heard much about this?
Nope.
So David De Gea is set to leave. I think it's next season is when his contract expires. Manchester United reported to be letting him leave, walk on a free. Now, the player that we've been heavily linked with by a number of reporters, is the Everton and England goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford.
Oh, no. I'm announcing it now, yeah? If we sign Jordan Pickford, I am burning every United top and I'm fully supporting the local club that is the one and only Port Vale, mate. I am done with football. I cannot stand the T-Rex, arm swinging, dirty. I'm not even going to carry that on because violence is not promoted on YouTube. I cannot stand Jordan Pickford.
It's been reported by a lot of people. It's been picked up by a lot of the big YouTube channels as well that do report on transfer business, and I don't know, it's going to be good. Asiv's also put, love to see GW back in the squad. I'm not sure who GW is. I've got a feeling I know who it is, and we're not going to talk about it if I think it's Mr. Mason. He's obviously subject to an ongoing investigation, so we can't really discuss that too much. But we are lacking so much up front. We really are. I'm really happy that we've got Anthony. I think the price was ridiculous, but again, not his fault. Ronaldo's been awful this year, but I'm not going to go hard on him. He's 37. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. It's been coming.
I think, like I said, I love Ronaldo, club legend, but I just think he just wants enjoy his last few years as a footballer, I think.
Yeah, he just needs to go. He had that. He was linked with a huge move to, I think it was Saudi Arabia or one of the Arabian states for mega money. But
I think he was offered a contract of I read somewhere the entire transfer fee alone was 240 million. They were willing to pay.
It's crazy.
And then I think it was going to be 2 million a week, something crazy like that. Anyway.
Yeah, madness, absolutely madness. So I think we're done, man. I think we've covered pretty much everything we've needed to and more. You've had a bit of extra content tonight. So on those two huge fixtures, there's the weekend of derby games, Manchester United versus Manchester City on the Sunday. We're disagreeing slightly. I'm going with a 2-1 United, you're going with a 2-1 City. Although we both concede, it can go either way with these two. It's a derby game, stats, head-to-head, form, everything goes out the window. And then on Saturday, North London derby, the one that we will be watching with a keen eye, because that could really start to see who goes top of the table. That starts to shift that top four all over the place, and that is Arsenal v Tottenham at the Emirates Stadium. That is a 12:30 kickoff tomorrow. Can't wait for that. I've gone with either a 2-2 or a 2-1 Arsenal. You've also gone the same, I think, right, with that one?
I said 2-2 or a 3-2 Arsenal.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fascinating. Well, thank you as ever, Dwight, for joining me tonight. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you to Asif, Katie Lou, Red Panda. Thank you all for joining and commenting. Please get us on Twitter. If you just put in hashtag the ShoesString Budget Podcast, you'll see us on there. And hashtag 21 as well, because 21 is incoming under Eric Ten Hag. You heard it here first. I'm wishing you all a great night. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Dwight?
No, just thank you for everyone watching, and it's been eventful.
Brilliant. Well, we might be here again doing a watch along over the weekend. I'm probably going to come on for the derby game just to cry a little bit and moan and whinge. We'll also do the match reaction. We'll rate our players and we'll also rate the opposition. We'll also do ratings, I think, on the Arsenal game as well. So make sure you watch that, and we'll get more content out to you next week. Thanks as ever, guys. Peace.